In the early part of the 20th century, Union Station and Columbus Fountain were conceived, designed, and constructed. A brief history of these projects is provided, as well as a present-day visual portfolio of these Washington, D.C. landmarks. During its heyday in the early 1940s, Union Station was a thriving transportation hub, serving up to 42,000 passengers a day. After 1945, conditions deteriorated quickly. Public trends shifted from rail to cars and planes for long-distance travel, which diminished the rail revenues, activity in the station, and the feeling of excitement that once percolated through the building. Historic and present-day pictures and video attempt to capture the highlights of the long history of the rise and decline and rise again of Union Station and Columbus Plaza. The earliest conceptualization of Union Station included a plaza with a fountain at the front of the station. The Columbus Fountain, also known as the Columbus Memorial, is a public artwork that brought this concept to fruition. A centerpiece of Columbus Circle, the Columbus Fountain serves as a tribute to the explorer Christopher Columbus. The American sculptor Lorado Taft was chosen to design the fountain. It was unveiled in 1912 in a 3-day celebration which encompassed all of Washington. There were parades, concerts, and fireworks, with President William Taft participating in the unveiling ceremonies. The Columbus Fountain is a semicircular double basin fountain with a full-length portrait of Christopher Columbus staring forward with his hands folded in front of him. Beneath him is a ship's prow that features a winged figurehead that represents the observation of discovery. A globe representing the Western Hemisphere is on top of the shaft. The left and the right side of the shaft have 2 male figures decorating them, an elderly man representing the Old World and a Native American representing the New World. 2 lions are placed away from the base, guarding the left and the right side of the fountain. The fountain is located at the juncture of Delaware and Massachusetts Avenue and stands in direct line of sight down Delaware Avenue to the national capital. The Freedom Bell is a bicentennial gift from the American Legion. When the bell was completed, it was shipped to Baltimore and then traveled all 48 contiguous states aboard the American Freedom Train as part of the bicentennial celebration of 1976. The bell was placed at Union Station in 1981. The facade of the station is adorned with American eagles, and the 3 flagpoles in front of the station are topped with this national symbol. The eagle motif is carried to the base of the flagpoles as well. This hyperlap video offers a quasi-3-dimensional perspective of the Columbus Fountain with Union Station in the background. Surrounding the outer reaches of Columbus Plaza are 51 flagpoles flying the state flags and the District of Columbia. Union Station in Washington, D.C. is a major train station, transportation hub, and leisure destination in Washington, D.C. Opened in 1907, it is Amtrak's headquarters and serves several local train lines. Annual ridership is about 5 million. Between ridership and shopping destinations, the station is visited by over 40 million people a year. Before Union Station opened, each of the major railroads operated out of one or two stations. Railroad tracks crossed the mall at 6th Street, west of the Capitol. Near the tracks, several structures were built over the years, including the Baltimore and Potomac Railroad Station. It was at this station where President James Garfield was assassinated. In 1901, the Pennsylvania and Baltimore and Ohio railroads announced that they agreed to build a new station together. The consolidation allowed the creation of the National Mall as it appears today. The station was designed under the guidance of architect Daniel Burnham, assisted by Pierce Anderson, and its construction was authorized in 1903 by a congressional act which was signed into law by President Theodore Roosevelt. The act specified that the station should be monumental in character. The station and all its supporting infrastructure exceeded $16 million. This architectural icon and engineering marvel officially opened in 1908, although the first B&O train arrived with passengers at 6:50 a.m. on October 27, 1907. Union Station is a massive scale structure which includes a facade stretching more than 600 feet and a waiting room ceiling 96 feet above the floor. Above the main cornice of the central block stand 6 colossal statues created by Louis St. Gaudens. These are entitled The Progress of Railroading. The statues are Prometheus for fire, Daedalus for electricity, Themis for freedom and justice, Apollo for imagination and inspiration, Ceres for agriculture, and Archimedes for the mechanics. The front of the station has a grand corridor that complements and enhances the architecture of the structure. St. Gaudens also created 26 centurions for the station's main hall. The station incorporates a number of architectural styles. Classical elements include the Arch of Constantine for the exterior and the main facade, and the great vaulted spaces of the Baths of Diocletian for the interior. Both the interior and exterior are adorned with sculptures of the Beaux Arts style. The use of expensive materials such as marble, gold leaf, and white granite is evident throughout and can be seen in the images that follow. As the sun rises over the station and floods it with light, travelers, shoppers, and diners converge on the station, sometimes stopping to admire the beauty of the structure. An understanding of the expanse of the station can be realized by viewing this hyperlapse video. In addition to the main hall of the station, there is an east and west hall. The west hall of the station supports an additional entrance, and the east hall, often missed by people, is absolutely magnificent. The Union Station we see today is the result of a major restoration project that began in the early 1980s. Millions of dollars and years of work were invested, and the renovated station opened to the public on September 29, 1988, after being closed to the public as unsafe in the early 1981. As part of the restoration, a variety of shops opened along the concourse of the main hall, and the Amtrak terminal was placed behind the original concourse. The decorative elements of the station were restored. The skylights, which were preserved, but the sunlight no longer illuminates the concourse because it is blocked by a newer roof structure built directly overhead of the supporting and aging original structure. The beautifully inlaid marble floor is a feature that can often be overlooked as you navigate your way through the station. The restored Union Station contains over 100 shops and restaurants and is a popular destination for not only travelers but local residents of Washington, D.C. Whether you are traveling or just looking for a unique place to visit, Union Station and Columbus Plaza are destinations that are well worth a visit.